A ton of people float the Boise River. But here's something you don't see every day. A swimmer emerging seemingly out of nowhere.
Oh, feels good. Oh, man, I'm gonna find some treasures today.
Okay, here we go. Rocky Detweiler loves diving in the river, and he discovers a whole bounty of lost treasures.
I've got all kinds of stuff in here, right? Look at those sweet dudes. Like, what's up, man? These are awesome.
But he's not just looking for valuable items. Rocky does this for fun. I watched him toss some garbage and a broken paddle out of the river and onto the bank.
Oh, man, this is like
Flip-flop city here. Holy smokes. We're just gonna get them out of the water. They're everywhere.
But it made me wonder, what are the craziest things that Rocky has ever found in the river?
I found guns. I found, lots of cash before, wallets. I returned the wallet that I found and a purse that I found last year.
Hold on a minute. So basically, this guy is the Robin Hood of the Boise River who takes from the river and gives valuables back to the people? I have to say, I'm a little skeptical.
But the coolest thing I've ever found, was a $25,000 prosthetic leg.
Now, I'm a bit of a river rat, and over the last year, I've lost my wallet, my glasses, and a GoPro camera. So I know that once something goes to the bottom of the river, you never get it back.
This is where I found the leg.
But I also learned that, just like another Rocky that I know, the Boise Rocky never gives up.
I started thinking, yeah, man, I want to find a home for this.
So Rocky brought the prosthetic leg he found to a local company in Boise, and they found a serial number.
They came back and they said, it's another company in town, and the owner lives here. And I'm like, what? Yes, so awesome.
Look what I got for you, bro.
Josh Hawkins lost his leg in an unfortunate accident.
Losing a limb is kind of like losing somebody close to you. And so once you get a prosthetic, it kind of fills that void and becomes a part of you.
But when Josh lost his prosthetic leg on the 4th of July after jumping in the river, he never expected to get it back.
I was real surprised. I didn't expect to ever see it again, so it was great to get the call.
And that's why Josh is so thankful to the Boise River Robin Hood.
I gave him his leg back, and I got to tell you, this whole investigating thing was so awesome. I see why investigators love it, because it is so cool.
But for a guy who loves his community,
I love it. But it's, woo!
And a guy who can experience Christmas Day every day in the middle of summer.
I remember I found these just a couple days ago. You would have thought it was Christmas time for me, man. I'm like, what? I love it. It's just so cool.
This story reminds us why we live in the greatest place in the world.
That's just like an incredible feeling to give back. And this community that we're in anyways is the most incredible community about giving back.
Steve Dent, 6 on your side.
Well, we may not live in Sherwood Forest, but the City of Trees has its very own Robin Hood. However, unlike the original, this one is taking from the rich flows of the Boise River and giving to the poor souls who made the decision to bring their valuables with them while floating. In this morning's Idaho Backroads, I caught up with Boise's RiverRobinHood.
3 years ago, outdoor/sports/action adventure reporter Steve Dent introduced us to a unique character.
Rocky Detweiler loves diving in the river, and he discovers a whole bounty of lost treasures.
I've got all kinds of stuff in here, right? Look at those sweet dudes. Like, what's up, man? These are awesome.
That's so much fun. Yeah. Woo!
Fast forward to this summer, and Boise River floaters are still losing their belongings on a regular basis, meaning Rocky is still finding tons of treasure.
I found a phone, and then I went back again, and then I found the bag, right? And then went back again and found another phone, and another phone, and 6 phones later, man, in the same spot.
Woo! Look at that.
Now to recap, Rocky's been a swimmer and diver since he was a kid.
There's a water source. I'm gonna be in it somehow, yeah.
Over the years, he's found a cornucopia of various lost items.
I found guns. I found, lots of cash before, wallets.
But it was one specific discovery that made him feel like he can do more with his hydro hobby.
I'm diving and I see this prosthetic leg, man. I pull it out. I'm like, no way! Like, who loses a leg? leg. What happened here?
And after finding yet another prosthetic leg, the RiverRobinHood was born, creating a service unheard of in the Treasure Valley.
You know, I wanted to create something where people could go and get some of their items back.
2022 has possibly been the RiverRobinHood's busiest season yet.
I mean, this is kind of what I found this year. Some of these phones are broken. They don't turn on, so I can't return them. These 6 I found yesterday with ID, and these 3 key. I mean, this is all yesterday. Just on one float. It was easily one of my biggest finds ever. But these are prescription sunglasses, guys. These right here, I mean, this is several $1,000s just right here.
And though float season is now over and he may dive a few other places around the globe.
In the South Pier of Miami, nobody dove that, and I found a phone there. Yeah, man, yeah.
How do you lose your shorts?
This RiverRobinHood Sherwood Forest is Boise, Idaho.
It's one of the only places in North America, Matt, where a river runs through town and where there are park systems on both sides of the river. I mean, one of the only places in North America, one of the only cities. This is an amazing city. Woo!
Oh, I love this, man.
And if you may have lost something during a float trip down the Boise River, never fear, RiverRobinHood is here. Now, obviously, he can't find every single item he's asked to find, but unlike you and me, he is willing to dive 10 to 20 feet to the river floor to make that attempt. Now, for more information on how to reach him, check out this story on our webpage that I'll be putting up a little later on IdahoNews6.com.
I kind of felt hopeless and at a loss because I've pretty much lost everything since my wreck.
22-year-old Jacob Welty of Nampa was in a car accident back in January. He was severely injured and lost one of his legs below the knee. Last weekend, he was floating the Boise River and his prosthetic leg fell off and disappeared into the rushing current. What happened next is nothing short of miraculous. We bring you stories all the time about Idahoans pitching in to help others in times of crisis. What you're about to see tonight is one of those stories. The story of 3 local heroes coming together to help a fellow Idahoan get back on his feet again. Maggie O'Mara has tonight's 7's heroes.
Me and my buddy were driving out by Gibbons Hot Springs and he swerved over to miss a deer.
2020 has been a tough year for Jacob Welty.
I have a titanium rod where my femur's supposed to be. I've had my shoulder fully rebuilt and completely had my leg amputated.
He was in a terrible car accident in January.
I just actually got my prosthetic about 3 weeks ago.
Last Sunday, he was floating the Boise River with some friends.
We were all floating down the Boise River and everything was going good. My leg started to feel like it was getting loose. In a blink of an eye, it was gone. So I kind of freaked out and started bawling.
Jacob's mom, Vicki Welty, could not believe it. There was no way they could afford a new one.
Devastation, I guess, is the word I could use for it. He's been through so much. It just broke my heart. I didn't know what to think. The first thing I could think of was Facebook. Jump on Facebook and get it on there and hope that somebody could find it.
It was shared hundreds of times. So many people wanting to help.
It was like awe-inspiring.
We also posted about the missing leg, and that's how Rocky Detweiler, Israel Shirk, and Douglas T. Campbell came into the picture.
That post brought us all together.
It was very much like a community thing.
Campbell just happened to be floating the river at the same time as Jacob.
I was kind of like right on scene when it happened, so I knew the location pretty well. He was pretty upset about losing his prosthetic limb.
Shirk saw the Facebook post and had a special reason why he wanted to help find Jacob's leg.
So I have a younger brother, Ben, who has lost a leg just below the knee as well, and he's got a really similar prosthetic. And just knowing the cost and what that means to him, if he were to not have that, that basically means your life is taken away.
And the way I found out about it was through Facebook. I check it out, I'm like, a prosthetic leg? I'll go hunt that down. I have experience, right?
Rocky Detweiler actually found another prosthetic leg last summer in the Boise River.
When I saw the post about a prosthetic leg, it's like I kind of dropped everything I was doing and just jammed to the river.
He got in the water right away.
I did one float by,
wasn't there. I crawled back out of the river and, you know, just kind of took another segment and then came out of the river with the leg and just like the loudest war whoop. Woo! You know,
Yeah.
like, we found it.
Oh, yeah.
Which was an awesome
That was
moment.
amazing.
Like, it's like,
And it was
found
right
the leg.
where Douglas said it was.
And they called me and said, "Oh, well, your leg's not in the water." And I was like, "Well, shoot." And then Rocky's like, "Well, that's because I pulled it out of the water." And then I was like, "Awesome." So I was super excited that I got my leg back.
And there, the tears started, and they're gonna start again. I don't even know how to explain it. It just was such a relief and such a blessing that these guys all got together.
This is a very big deal. This one's about $18,000, so this is expensive.
For these three men, the best part of all this was meeting Jacob and returning the leg.
You know, when I gave this to Jacob, we hugged for 3 minutes. Never met this kid before. I'm in tears, he's in tears, mom's in tears. And, you know, when you can find something so special and be able to give it back to somebody, that's a really big deal.
Thank you. You guys are my heroes.
I'm glad you got your leg.
Definitely. I love you guys for what you did for us, and for my son, and God bless you. God bless you all.
Rocky Detweiler, Israel Shirk, and Douglas Campbell.
I can't thank these guys enough.
Seven's Heroes.
Well, as you can imagine, that leg has been through a lot and it needs some repairs so Jacob can wear it again. And these guys are already trying to make that happen, raising money for it. Also, Rocky Detweiler, the guy who dove in for the leg and was inspired to start a Facebook page for those who lose things in the river, well, he's done it. It's called RiverRobinHood. Appropriate name. Says he's happy to help you out if you lose something precious in the water. We'll connect you to the fundraiser and more on that Facebook page. Just go to the story on our website. Hopefully you won't have to call on them for a rescue, but how great is it that there are those that have your back, and in this case, leg, in case you need them.